Now let's begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Lagos on a working visit as the country prepares for a low-key 65th independence anniversary. The president moved to Lagos after attending the coronation of the Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja in Oyo State. While in Lagos, he is expected to meet with private sector leaders and senior government officials. President Tinubu is also scheduled to visit Imo State on Tuesday, September 30, to commission projects executed by Governor Hope Uzodinma. As part of the anniversary events, the president will inaugurate the remodeled National Theatre, now renamed the Wole Soyinka Center for Culture and Creative Arts. Meanwhile, President Tinubu is expected in Imo State next week for the commissioning of the key infrastructure projects in Owerri. Governor Hope Uzodinma made this known during an inspection tour of the projects in Owerri. News Central's Alex Ugbunaya here reports.
In what promises to be a high-profile presidential visit, Imo State is putting final touches on a series of landmark projects ahead of President Bola Tinubu's arrival next week. The president's visit will coincide with a major celebration by the All Progressives Congress as the party marks 10 years since it assumed leadership at the national level.
The leadership of All Progressive Congress decided to mark their 10 years, a decade of leadership in Nigeria. And in their wisdom, they chose to host the meeting in Owerri. One of the significant things that happened in Imo State was the huge infrastructural gap we met on ground. We've been able to close the gap to some reasonable extent, among which is an international conference center that is capable of hosting the world. I've gone around to see the extent of completion of work in some of these facilities. I'm impressed and happy with the contractors, the work they have done so far. The facility that will be hosting this summit will be commissioned by Mr. President before the summit. So Imo's people are in a jubilant mood that these things are happening during the period of All Progressive Congress leadership. So I'm very happy and excited that we are not talking of promises anymore. We are discussing performance.
As the final preparations continue, residents of Owerri are hopeful that the presidential visit will bring not just recognition, but also long-term economic benefits to the region. President Tinubu's visit is expected to draw national attention to Imo's infrastructural strides. According to the governor, his administration is doing all it can to bridge the infrastructural deficit in the state. In Imo, for News Central, Alex Ugbunaya.
In the meantime, the newly installed Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Adeolu Ladoja, who has urged President Tinubu, Bola Tinubu, to approve the creation of Ibadan State. Speaking during his coronation in Ibadan, Oba Ladoja said the long-standing demand represents the wishes of both the Olubadan in council and the people. He urged the crowd to rise and thank the president in advance for granting the request. The push for new states remains one of the key agitations in the ongoing review of Nigeria's 1999 constitution. News Central's Victor Mbadike was at the event and brings us more on the coronation.
It is an electrifying scene here in Ibadan as thousands dressed in colorful attire defy the scorching sun and stand for hours just to catch a glimpse of their new king. Access to the 81-year-old monarch remains nearly impossible, but some have devised unusual means to get closer. He was crowned at the Osemeji Temple by the Traditional Council in line with Ibadan's succession custom.
As he becomes the Olubadan now, I expect a turnaround with the system of Ibadan, especially the land grabbing issue. I know he's educated. He's a king with good stand of wisdom. I know he will see to it. Land grabbing will stop, and the chieftaincy title will be addressed.
You know, Messi Dolon Jimmy Layo, what they be Layo, Bogo Atawabina, Adelewani, Ayoati, Alafia.
Baba Wala
The new king later received his staff and instruments of office from Governor Seyi Makinde here at Mapo Hall, a moment he will surely cherish in history.
I believe, someone believe that his tenure will be peaceful for us in this Ibadan and Oyo State generally, because event like this has never been held. This is not the first Oba we have in Ibadan, but this standout is nothing more or less of a carnival. We've never experienced such in Ibadan before.
Ǹdí ọmọ Ìbàdàn àti gbogbo ọmọ bíbí ìlú Ìbàdàn náà tí à ń fọkàn sí lásìkò wọn náà ni pé kí ló tú wà lára. Àkọ́kọ́ náà ìdùnnú bẹ̀ ni wípé ìgbà oyin ni a gbọ́ pé bàbá gbé. Tó bá yẹ pé wọ́n gbégbá tàbí wọ́n lọ gbégbá epo wàhálà ni.
The carnival-like ceremony ended with Ibadan hopeful under their new monarch, Oba Abdulrasheed Ladoja, who succeeds the late Oba Owolabi Olakunleyi.
This coronation is both a celebration of culture and a call to leadership. For the people of Oyo State, Oba Rashidi Ladoja's reign is expected to safeguard tradition while also guiding the city to a better future. In Ibadan, for News Central, Victor Abadike.
Ahead of the 2027 general elections, Nigerians in the diaspora are stepping up calls to be included in the country's electoral process. At the second Diaspora Town Hall meeting organized by News Central in New York, stakeholders said it was unacceptable for those contributing billions of dollars to Nigeria's economy to remain politically voiceless. Now, joining us to discuss more on this is a foreign policy analyst, Bolu Michael B., and a legal practitioner, Okiki Adenira. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Great.
Good afternoon.
Good. Okay, let me start with you. What legal barriers currently prevent Nigerians living abroad from voting in national elections?
The legal barriers are, very straightforward. And you will see that in the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 77 and Section 117, right, of the Constitution talks about that where if anyone will be eligible to vote at all, the person must be 18 years and also must be someone who lives in Nigeria, who is resident in Nigeria. And this is one important, part of the Constitution that has limited the people in diaspora, right, in voting in elections. And also, Section 12.1, 1C of the Electoral Act also, added to this, saying that if anybody would register or vote in an election, that person must live at the local government or around where the person has registered. And you can be very sure that in drafting this particular section, the diaspora citizens were not, contemplated in any way at all. So those articles, those sections, basically, they have, disenfranchised the people outside the country majorly. And, this is what they are talking about, and they are clamoring for a change that they should be able to vote in elections.
Thank you very much. Now, Bolu, let's come to you. Earlier this morning, inside of Breakfast Extra, we had Mr. Frank Weke, and he told us about the robust community that we have when it comes to diaspora Nigerians and how much they remit to Nigeria, not just to Nigeria, but to the whole of West Africa. Now, Bolu, the question is, what are the what are the, logistical barriers that we might be facing when it comes to diaspora voting here in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you for having me. Nigerians abroad, we send billions of naira, millions of dollars, down to the country. But unfortunately, we have no political voice. We're being treated as economic contributors, but not democratic participant. We are seeing of economic value, but not of electoral value. That's why Nigeria right now arguably doesn't have a strong foreign policy, because during campaigning, during election season, nobody talks about those abroad. We talk to the people, politicians travel to Calabar, talk to people, travel to Owerri, talk to people, but they don't talk to Nigerians in New York, Nigerians in London, Nigerians in Canada. And it's unfair, because we are Nigerians as well, and we determine the future of the country. Many Nigerians have the intention of returning to the country in the next 4 years or 8 years that these leaders are going to be in office, which means that if we don't have the agency to participate in the electoral process, we don't have that opportunity to determine our future. And that creates a sense of frustration and disconnection among diaspora Nigerians, and the bond between the citizens and the country, it becomes very weak. Being excluded in shaping the affairs of the country's future is unfair, and that's why it's kind of easy for diaspora Nigerians to pledge allegiance to their host country, and we've seen that in sports, we've seen that in other areas of life as well. And the brain drain and the talent drain is heavy, and I think one of the reasons is because we're not participating.
I think we might be having issues there with the connection with Bolu, but Okiki, we still have you, Okiki. So now, Okiki, are you still with us? I'm hoping you're still with us. How does the right to vote for Nigerians abroad relate to broader human rights and democratic principles?
It's very straightforward. The right of the diaspora, is very sacrosanct, right, in voting in an election. Basically, you can be very sure that other African countries have, taken up this. They have, looked into the international laws and also their domestic laws, and they have merged and they have included this in their laws. Countries like Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, now they do this. They allow their citizens to vote outside the country. Right, having said that, in Nigeria, one of the things I believe we should look at are the laws, right, international laws that guarantees that a citizen should be able to vote outside the country. And one of such laws, is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Article 25(1) specifically says that a citizen of a country who stays outside the country should be allowed to vote. And in fact, if you look at the Article 25, right, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, it talks about the right of a diaspora citizen, voting in an election. And this is because, just like you've said, it's very important to include these people, because not just the inclusion for the economic value, but also they should be able to elect, the people who will be governing and will be seen to the fact that, the things that they are giving to the country. So these are the laws that we should look at as a country, and domesticate these things and ensure that our citizens abroad can vote and they are eligible, to vote.
Okay. Now I hear that Bolu is back with us. Bolu, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us. So Bolu, we've got some countries that have actually implemented diaspora voting. South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, here in Africa. Estonia is another country that has been implementing this consistently. So I'm wondering what exactly Nigeria's challenge is when it comes to implementing such a thing. If we have such big systems as financial systems that are able to help us make secure transactions across the world, why aren't we able to do this when it comes to elections?
Okay, the fact that we have, strong remittance system shows that we can actually get our systems right in every other area if the political will is there. I think one thing is the political will to actually make that happen. I believe strongly that diaspora vote can largely influence the outcome, of elections in Nigeria, because it's such a large populations of Nigerians abroad doing things, and we do deserve the right to. We do have a civic right, a civil right, and we deserve to be able to determine the future of the country. Many Nigerians do intend to return to Nigeria at some point. point, some within the next 4 years, some within the next 8 years. So if we're not able to vote, we don't have the chance to determine the future of the country. First, we need for this system to be in place, we need the cooperation of the host country. We're in Austria, for example, or in Canada, the host country must be brought in some way, and also election abroad must deal with the legal, the security, and the logistical issues as well. There has to be a proper system in place, starting with an agreement with the host government, and also develop a strong cybersecurity system for data voting. I know some of the concerns is the safety of information. There can be issues of cyber attacks or security concerns about fraud and things like that. So we need to come together, cooperate with the host country, and also have a strong cybersecurity system, and see and test the system as well through maybe pilot elections, just to see how it goes. And I believe if we put the same political will as we've put a financial system in the electoral system, we'll be able to achieve the same result.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Okiki, Bolu, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now we go on a break, and when we return, PENGASSAN threatens to picket Dangote Refinery over mass sack. Details after the break. Join us then. News Central's Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief Kayode Akintemi on Friday joined other panelists for a conversation on solutions journalism at the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York. The panel, consisting of seasoned journalists from around the world, explored how solutions journalism can deepen public understanding of complex issues, rebuild trust in news, and drive progress toward the Sustainable Development Goals. Speakers at the session defined the concept of what it should truly mean to practice journalism driven by solutions, while also citing examples of the impact solution journalism has had in diverse contexts.
News Central, where I work now as the editor-in-chief, I'm consistently asking my journalists, don't go out and cover a story until you understand it. And when you're doing the story, do it from a position of understanding, in-depth knowledge of it, so that you're looking for a solution rather than identifying a sensational aspect of it that will get you the click on social media.
So when I say that you have to know the problem and understand it, we studied the situation, we realized that there is not a single TV station or newspaper that was willing to go into those communities because of the level of danger. This documentary, exactly 27 minutes documentary, that is going to show everything. We need your response. So the first thing they did was to say, hold on, just hold on. Can we see some of it? We did share information with them. And then they went on to investigate and discover those military men that were doing this, and they said they were going to court-martial. They did. And when they court-martialed, they ended up removing those bad eggs from the military.
The number one content request is always consistently more news that helps us solve our problems. We hear this over and over again. The BBC has done this, local news organizations across the US. And the question is, why are journalists so resistant, in a way, to giving the public the product that it is requesting from the news at a time when they're also avoiding the news more and more? And I think that having a simple framework that makes people feel comfortable and also feel like this has real impact. You know, journalists feel like there's a phrase in America, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and it animates a lot of journalists.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSAN, has threatened to picket the Dangote Refinery over the alleged dismissal of 800 workers who recently joined the association. The union accused the refinery of replacing the dismissed workers with more than 2,000 Indian nationals. But management of the refinery denied the allegations, saying only a few workers were let go over repeated cases of sabotage. In a statement, the company explained that the action formed part of an ongoing reorganization to protect the refinery and sustain operations. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Nigeria Medical Association to constitute a team of medical experts to ascertain the health condition of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. The court, in the ruling that was delivered by Justice James Omotosho, held that report from the medical experts should be submitted to it within 8 days. It held that the report would assist the courts to decide on an application that Kanu, who is answering to a 7-count terrorism charge, filed to transfer to the National Hospital in Abuja for proper medical attention. Justice Omotosho ordered the medical team to visit the medical facility of the Department of State Service to confirm if it has the capacity to meet Kanu's health needs. In Nigeria's northeast state of Borno, residents of Bama community are picking up the pieces of their lives following years of abandonment of their community due to repeated attacks by Boko Haram terrorists. Speaking during a community gathering at the Shehu of Bama's palace, they emphasized their determination to remain in the town, rebuild the community, and sustain a peace that has gradually returned. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
The sound of the popular Kanuri flute and drums with residents of Bama dancing to celebrate years of peace. A few years ago, the town was abandoned as many residents fled for safety following repeated attacks by the Boko Haram terrorist group.
Ba wani irin fargaba ga security suna nan za ka je ko ina ka kai sayan ka dawo ka yi bukatun ka je asibitin ka dawo ko ina za ka je makarantu alhamdulillah ko ta ina yanzu kan da yanda muka zo da farko kan da yanzu kan har ga Allah akwai bambanci sosai.
Kuma maro so jarar da ne nuskuren kambe ande ba mai da fargaba ne ga na maro bawo kuma ne mai ne kamaro da yana mai so bara la kara ne fa mate krada.
At the Shehu of Bama's palace, where some of the residents converged, security agencies, including the police, Nigerian army, and others, say that the resilience of Bama residents demonstrates hope for long-term stability, urging them to continue to support peace-building efforts.
By the grace of God, we will be together with you. Anywhere you go, anywhere you need our services, we will be together with you. Our doors are open.
We are very happy to celebrate as part of our support. And we are very happy to be here in Bama celebrating this particular event. It's a clear sign that peace have relatively returned to Bama.
The traditional leaders in Bama called for collective vigilance and collaboration with security agencies to ensure insurgents never regain control of any area.
Today, as we gather under the banner of peace, we are remain that peace is not merely the absence of conflicts, but the presence of justice, compassion, and opportunity for all.
While security agencies have also assured continuous surveillance and protection of communities to consolidate peace and heal the wounds of the people, deliberate and proactive efforts are said to be needed to boost socio-economic activities. In Bama for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Still talking security, the Nigeria Police Force has urged citizens to support its officers in the effective use of newly deployed operational assets, stressing that equipment alone cannot guarantee results without community cooperation and officer commitment. This comes as the force commissioned 59 armored Toyota Hilux vehicles for special operations, warning criminal groups against testing the resolve of the police. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, while performing the commissioning, says that the vehicles represent more than just hardware, noting that they will give tactical units the speed and protection needed to stay ahead of crimes.
These assets here today that we are commissioning represent our determination to move faster than the criminals, respond stronger than the threats, and assure citizens that their police are not overwhelmed but prepared. Each Hilux is purpose-built for high-risk operations, armored against hostile fire, equipped for mobility across diverse terrains, and designed for durability. They provide our tactical units with the protection and speed they need to dominate the field. They are not ceremonial assets. They are operational reinforcements for missions that test the very resilience of our officers. Let me, however, state clearly that equipment alone cannot guarantee results. It is the discipline, judgment, and courage of the officers who operate them and the support of the people that will transform these vehicles into instruments of security. The Hiluxes will provide the shield, but our officers must provide the integrity. Without that, machines are powerless.
Away from security now. Rising floodwaters are again wreaking havoc across parts of Nigeria, with new flash floods now battering communities in Kogi State. The Owara community in Kogi State is currently in the eye of the storm as farmlands, homes and roads are currently submerged underwater. News Central's correspondent Mono Balagogo visited the communities and here reports.
Water levels in Kogi State are now far above normal. On Tuesday, flash floods swept through Owara community, leaving widespread devastation and leaving homes submerged with residents displaced.
Shelters, and that's an apartment over there. You can see the rooms and how the floods destroyed most living amenities here.
The overnight floods has put many in the community in difficult situation as those affected are counting their losses.
What you can see behind me is vast lands, farmlands actually, full of agricultural products that have been planted by the people in Owara community. And as you can see, the flash floods has submerged all the lands around here. And it's just so devastating. We'll be speaking to some of the residents of the community to actually tell us how this flood has impacted this particular community.
We are just staying in the night. We just see water. Water just from nowhere just come and pack us, break our houses. No food, pack all our properties. So we don't have anything and we need help.
Would they beg the government what they do help us? For what we go home? For house, where we go sleep?
Our family has scattered. We men of us in primary school, where government give a primary school, now there we sleep. People too many. We just manage ourselves there. We're too full.
The grace of God that we didn't lose any life. Because it is not like the conventional River Niger that if it is coming, it's gradual.
We had so many challenges when we were coming up from the town that is Lokoja, the state capital, but this is just one of the communities affected.
The Kogi State Emergency Management Agency has currently mobilized to provide relief to those displaced as they were seen on ground. However, for communities affected by the floods, the call is for them to heed warning by the government and relocate to higher grounds. In Owara community, for News Central, Mono Balagogo.
In Delta State, building a new generation of leaders grounded in democratic values, accountability and innovation was the focus of a leadership training clinic for senior prefects in the state. Participants were drawn from Edo, Delta and Bayelsa State. News Central's Austin Azu here has more details.
To nurture future leaders, senior prefects from across Edo, Delta and Bayelsa States, South Nigeria, converged on Asaba for a leadership program organized by the Abuja Leadership Center in partnership with Third Fund, hosted at Dennis Osadebe University. With the theme, Empowering the Next Generation Leaders, the program emphasized civic responsibility, ethical leadership and youth involvement in the electoral process ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections.
The center is to promote excellence in leadership, public governance, and policy-oriented research that can provide practical solutions to existing problems.
Simply put, leadership is citizenship in action. It's about using your voice and actions to make a positive difference, to inspire others, and to take responsibility for change.
You will agree with me that the major problem we have in this country today is the problem of leadership. Without good leadership, there can be no development. And we believe that if these children are taught early on the tenets of good governance, they will grow up to become very good leaders in future, and society will benefit from it.
The Delta State Commissioner for Secondary Education, Rose Ezewu, challenged students' leaders to embrace service as the foundation of leadership and take the lessons back to their schools and communities.
At a time when our nation is in need of responsible, visionary, and patriotic leaders, such engagements are crucial in shaping the character and mindset of our young people.
For participants, the one-day event was more than theory. Through lectures, group work, and feedback sessions, they said the lessons will shape their personal growth and their role in society.
And I'm here to say that this program has impacted me in such a way that I am gaining more information about leadership, which is something that I am really passionate about because I myself am a leader in my school.
Having the opportunity to come here has made me learn so many things about being a citizen of the country, how to be a patriotic citizen of the country, and my obligations and my duties and my responsibilities.
Organizers say the clinic is only the beginning, with plans to sustain the program across more states. For these students, it's the first step into leadership, with a focus on service and responsibility. In Asaba for New Central, Austin, Azu.
The Guinness World Record craze in Nigeria took off after Hilda Bassi's impressive feat in May 2023, where she broke the record for the longest cooking marathon by an individual, cooking non-stop for 93 hours and 11 minutes. This achievement sparked widespread interest, with over 1,500 Nigerians submitting applications to break various records in just 2 months. New Central's Omolola Ololade tells us more in this report.
The rush to set or break Guinness World Record by Nigerians has increased tremendously, with 55 records set since Fela Kuti's pioneering achievement. Recent successes like Hilda Bassi's 93-hour cooking marathon and Kafi's dance records have sparked a surge in attempt. The Guinness World Record body says it recorded about 1,572 applications by July 2023, shortly after Bassi's successful attempt. The recent spike in the number of attempts by Nigerians, especially to bizarre challenges, have got many wondered about the rationale behind these attempts.
I think we should see more Nigerians trying to break the Guinness World Record. It's going to help, it's a repetition for Nigeria, because we know when it was great things happen all over the world, you call Nigerians.
If you're talented, you've got something to show, okay? And you try to do something extreme for you to get noticed. I think that is courage, all right? Trying to push yourself, trying to grow yourself is not a bad thing.
Breaking the Guinness World Record for the longest cooking time is Nigerian celebrity chef Hilda Bassi, who recently cooked the largest pot of jollof rice, putting the popular West African dish on the global map. Hilda, however, highlights the importance of contributing to society through record-breaking endeavors.
I would always say, ask yourself what value, your decision to break a record or do something dogged, like what value does this provide to you? What value does this provide to the society? I mean, it might be trending now, but ask yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, this decision that you're making, is it something that you're going to be proud of?
Beyond the fame and recognition of cooking the largest pot of jollof rice in the world is the challenges that comes with it. something many applicants need to consider before embarking on the Guinness World Record journey.
We had a lot of fears. The first one is the weather. Actually, we had changed the date 3 times. We set out to do this on August 22nd, and then we moved it because we were not ready to August 24th. And then I checked the weather, I think a week before, and I realized it was going to be raining on August 24th. And then I took my phone and I called Hilda and I said, Hilda, we need to move the date because it's going to be raining on that day.
Hilda's record-breaking jollof rice dish was a delight to many Nigerians as it showcased Nigerian cuisine globally, potentially ending the West African debate on who cooks the best jollof rice while amplifying Nigeria's cultural heritage on the global landscape. In Lagos for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Trade experts in Nigeria have called on the federal government to leverage the use of bamboo to grow the nation's economy, create jobs, and also serve as foreign exchange earner for the nation. While joining the world to mark the World Bamboo Day in Abuja, they say if properly harnessed, bamboo can earn Nigeria over $22 million annually. News Central's correspondent Idong Joseph here reports.
Bamboo is a highly versatile plant that has multiple uses and can be used for building and construction, making furniture amongst others. While several countries like India, Philippines, China, Jamaica, and others have national action plan on bamboo production and use, many believe that bamboo has immense potentials as a foreign exchange earner.
From providing eco-friendly construction materials to combating climate change, bamboo helps restore degraded lands and support local economies.
As Nigeria joins the world to mark the World Bamboo Day, experts here at the Ministry of Trade and Investment in the nation's capital are calling on governments to leverage the immense use of bamboo to grow Nigeria's economy. They say that with over 10,000 recorded uses of bamboo, creating a master plan can help expand the use of bamboo in the country.
You move across the world, bamboo, you can make bamboo from, you can make this ceiling from bamboo, this substandard ceilings. You can make the furniture, this furniture also with bamboo. You can make the floor tiles with bamboo.
A well-articulated and faithfully implemented National Bamboo Value Chain Development Program for Nigeria can rapidly transform the economic landscape of our country through the creation of economic activities that never existed before, according to studies conducted by experts within and outside Nigeria. Bamboo value chain can earn Nigeria $22 billion annually.
They are calling on governments to leverage the benefits of bamboo production and tap from its rich potentials.
From its propagation, planting to harvesting, and utilization as industrial input, the development of the bamboo value chain in Nigeria will create thousands of jobs and income-earning opportunities, improve livelihoods, diversify the economy, conserve foreign exchange, reduce import dependence.
With no national policy framework, legislation, and institutional platform for bamboo development in Nigeria, they are calling for a change in attitude from the federal government. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Coming up, Madagascar's capital city deserted after violent protests. Details in a moment. The news continues in West Africa, where Guinea's Supreme Court has upheld the result of a controversial referendum that approved a new constitution in the military-ruled country, saying it was backed by an overwhelming majority of voters. The final tallies: 89.38% of favor and 10.62% against confirmed the provisional result announced earlier in the week. Opposition parties had urged citizens to boycott last Sunday's referendum, accusing the junta leader, General Mamadi Doumbouya, of using it as a tool to extend his stay in power. Earlier on Friday, they fled, or rather filed, a petition asking the court to annul the outcome. But that request was rejected. The ruling now clears the path for elections scheduled to hold in December.
Oui, 5 135 951, soit 89,38%. Non, 610 376, soit 10,62%. Il convient en conséquence de déclarer définitif les résultats provisoires proclamés par le ministre chargé de l'administration du territoire. Par ce motif.
In East Africa, Madagascar's president has dismissed the country's energy minister in an attempt to defuse growing protests over worsening power and water shortages. Residents have taken to the streets, angered by daily blockouts that often last more than 12 hours, leaving homes and businesses across the island nation without electricity. Critics accuse President Andry Rajoelina's government of failing to deliver on promises to improve living conditions in one of the world's poorest countries. The unrest escalated after banks, shops and homes were looted or set ablaze. Authorities have since imposed a dusk till dawn curfew to restore order. Victims of the looting say they have lost property and livelihoods in the violence.
On était pacifique, on chantait, on criait, on disait donnez-nous nos droits de vivre vraiment. Mais après, il y a certaines personnes qui en ont profité, et il y en a d'autres qui ont été plutôt provoquants. Je dirais qu'eux, ils n'ont pas suivi notre directive de GNC.
Tany filaminana moa zany nisy teo fa le olona mihitsy zany tsy voatohatra ny tany filaminana satria betsaka.
In Central Africa, opponents of Cameroon's President Paul Biya on Friday protested outside the United Nations in Geneva, demanding an independent commission ahead of the country's presidential elections. The demonstrators, mainly from the Cameroonian diaspora, objected to the Constitutional Council's rejection of Maurice Kamto, Biya's main rival. They expressed frustration, saying the election seemed premeditated for Biya's re-election.
Nous avons donc constaté qu'il y a un candidat qui est le professeur Maurice Kamto, ou même d'autres candidats qui ont été, je vais dire, exclus de ces élections de manière, on va dire, bizarre. Et nous n'avons pas, en tant que peuple camerounais, apprécié cela. Et c'est pour ça que nous venons à l'ONU, demander à l'ONU justement s'ils peuvent faire le rôle ou jouer leur rôle. Nous aurons voulu que le président Paul Biya, avec son âge de 94 ans, qu'il puisse prendre sa retraite et permettre à un autre Camerounais de prendre le relais pour diriger notre pays dans la sérénité et dans tout ce qui va avec.
Welcome back. Following speeches by dozens of world leaders criticizing Israel and calling for the end of its war on Gaza, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the General Assembly with many delegates walking out in protest. Protests in solidarity with Palestine greeted Netanyahu as he arrived in New York to address the annual event. In his address to the UN Assembly, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to finish the job of eliminating Hamas in Gaza, while also railing against what he calls disgraceful decision by some Western countries in recent days to recognize a Palestinian state. Netanyahu, who has an International Criminal Court arrest warrant against him for alleged war crimes, will meet on Monday with US President Donald Trump after telling reporters on Friday that negotiators are very close on striking a deal to end the war and return hostages.
I want to ask you a simple question, a simple, logical question. Would a country committing genocide plead with the civilian population it is supposedly targeting to get out of harm's way, would we tell them get out if we want to commit genocide? We're trying to get them out. And Hamas is trying to keep them in. And this charge is so baseless. The comparison to genocide, wholesale slaughter of populations. What, did the Nazis ask the Jews to leave, kindly leave, go out? Did others, you want me to name all the genocidal leaders of history? Just go one by one. Did anyone do this? Did they say, get out so we can come in? Of course not. So the truth has been turned on its head.
Billionaire Elon Musk and Prince Andrew have been named in newly released files connecting to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The documents turned over to the U.S. House Oversight Committee by Epstein's estate appear to show Musk was invited to the financier's private island in December 2014. Separately, a flight manifest from May 2000 lists the Duke of York as a passenger on a trip from New Jersey to Florida. Both Musk and Prince Andrew have been approached for comments. Prince Andrew has consistently denied any wrongdoing, while Musk has previously said he declined Epstein's invitation. The records form part of a third batch of files released by the Epstein estate, with more expected in the coming weeks. Sports now. The Nigeria Tennis Federation, in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria and other sponsors, has flagged off the 2025 National Wheelchair Tennis Championship at the National Stadium, Surulere. The tournament, which began on September 25, will run for 3 weeks, with matches scheduled from September 25 to 28, September 29 to October 1st, and October 2nd to 4th. Games feature players from across the country. The championship provides a platform for wheelchair athletes to showcase their skills while promoting inclusivity in Nigerian sports. Fans and the public are invited to attend and support the athletes as the competition progresses. The annual event continues to strengthen Nigeria's drive for a more inclusive tennis community. Atletico Madrid train ahead of the derby in La Liga against Real Madrid, a team that has improved their games, according to Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone. Real Madrid coach Xabi Alonso warned his side against overconfidence ahead of Los Blancos' visit. Real Madrid have won every match they have played this season, leading the top flight by 2 points ahead of champions Barcelona and 9 from Atletico, who are in 9th.
Independientemente, tan solo íbamos 6, hemos sacado pleno, pero nos ha costado en algunos partidos y no hay que confiarse, no hay que pensar que solo por saltar al campo vas a ganar, por tener el escudo que tengamos, por tener la plantilla que tenemos. Hay que trabajarlo bien, hay que prepararlo bien y hay que ser constantes en el rendimiento. Yo creo que cuanto más nos eduquemos a naturalmente salir activados a cualquier partido, a cualquier campo, ganaremos muchos partidos. Si ganamos muchos partidos, si tenemos esa activación natural.
Veo que el Madrid ha crecido en el juego colectivo, que tiene un equipo que ataca posicionalmente muy bien, que defensivamente hay un trabajo que se ve que el entrenador lo está involucrando dentro de su juego para presionar más arriba y bueno, por eso han ganado los 6 partidos desde que han empezado. Nosotros tendremos que llevar el partido donde creemos que le podemos hacer daño. Yo la verdad no me pongo a valorar a los rivales. Lo veo a Julián que está muy bien, está contento.
World number 2, Iga Swiatek, advanced to the third round of the China Open with a commanding 6-love, 6-3 win over China's Yuan Yu on Saturday. The Polish star, top seed in Beijing after Ariana Sabalenka's withdrawal, dominated from the start, sweeping the first set without dropping a game. Yuan, ranked 110, put up more resistance in the second set but was unable to halt Swiatek's momentum. The 6-time Grand Slam champion, fresh from a title win in Seoul, will next face Colombia's Camila Osorio, ranked 83rd, who edged Russian Anna Kalinskaya in 3 sets. And that's all this hour. Before we go, let's let you know what we brought your way as major stories. We told you President Tinubu has arrived Lagos on a working visit ahead of 65th anniversary. And Oba has urged President Tinubu to create Ibadan State after installation. We also told Guinea Supreme Court has confirmed referendum to change constitution. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screens now, and do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV 422, GoTV 23, channel Star Times channels 274, and of course on YouTube and Able TV. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.